So section 1, you can make a new heading if you're making notes here. Make a new heading here. And let's have a look. Section 1, comprehension, paper 1. Here are the key elements. You've got 10 minutes reading time. Make sure you use them for section 1. You can have a quick look at the essay question if you want. I don't see that much utility in doing it, although you could maybe mentally plan out how you're going to unpack that question for 1 or 2 minutes. So you can have a look at the essay question first for paper 1 in reading time, but then I would spend 8 to 9 minutes out of the 10 minutes reading the texts, okay? And also reading the questions. I'm going to come to that first. So what do you read first and why? Like when you do section 1 and you have reading time, what's the first thing you guys should be reading?
The questions.
What about, well, that's correct. Don't read the text first. Do not go and just read the texts with no purpose behind the analysis, right? You've got to know what you're looking for. But what do you look at first in the question?
Is it techniques?
Do you mean look for techniques? Is that in the text or in the question? If we're just reading the questions.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What's the first thing you should all be looking at when you open the section 1 paper? You go to the question section. What's the first thing my eyes would go to?
The keyword.
Not yet.
The marks.
Correct. The marks. Make sure you look at the marks first and look at the marks for each question. Why is it important that you look at the marks for each question first before you even read the question? Exactly. How much time should I allocate it and what kind of structure do I need to employ for this response? You already want to have a visual map of how that response is going to look like before you've even read the question. If I see that it's a 3-mark question, in my head, I go, okay, I need 3 sentences. And I'm going to show you a couple of visuals on this as well. But if I see a 3-marker, I'm going, okay, that's 3 sentences. I need a topic sentence to begin with. So I need to look for a concept that links to the question they've asked me. And then I need 2 pieces of evidence that I analyze and connect to the question. So 3 sentences, 1 topic sentence, 2 pieces of analysis, 2 sentences of analysis. Some people for 3 marks feel that you need to do 3 sentences of analysis. You actually don't. If you do a specific conceptual answer, that means if you actually just answer the question as an idea, what's the key perspective there that relates to the word key term of the question? That's probably a better start. And then you only need 2 sentences of analysis. Okay, so you read the question first so that you have an idea of the structure that you're going to use for your responses. Okay, once you have an idea of the structure that you're going to use for your responses, you then read the actual question and try and identify the 1, maybe 2 key terms in the question. There are not more than 1, maybe 2 key terms in a question. And I'm not talking about words like how. I'm talking about words like anomaly. I'm talking about words like family or love, an idea, or a rubric term. So make sure you're familiar with the rubric terms and look for those 1 or 2 key terms in the question. Okay, and as I said, the last point, hopefully you guys are convinced, do not complete the essay first. You're going to do the section 1 pieces first. All right, do you want to know the framework for section 1? It's simple, there's 3 elements to it. 1 is you need to know the structures for each type of question. 2, you need to know how to spot techniques really quickly, because the faster you can spot techniques, the faster you can create your analysis and answer that question. And 3, you need to know how to make a meaningful link between your evidence and the key terms of the question. So how do I avoid just repeating the question in my sentences? You never want to just repeat the key terms. What you want to do is have a meaningful engagement with them. Now, don't use synonyms. You have to use the actual key terms of the question. For instance, if it says anomaly, make sure you say anomaly, but make sure you at least say what type of anomaly or who is the anomaly? Why are they an anomaly? So you need to answer one of those mini questions or micro questions, okay? I'm going to call them mini questions. When you get a key term of a question, let's say it's anomaly, you need to ask yourself, and you guys should write this down right now. You need to ask yourself what type. So what type of anomaly, right? How might not be relevant to that point, but how is a good question as well. Why, so how or why are they an anomaly? That's going to help you expand on it, isn't it? If you can answer that, how are they an anomaly? Why are they an anomaly? So what? Who cares that they're an anomaly? Well, what's the consequence of being an anomaly? By answering those questions to yourself based on reading the text, you're going to be able to say something insightful and specific so that you're not just repeating the word anomaly. Is everyone following what I'm saying? So every time you mention the word anomaly, you should be elaborating on it by saying what type, who is the anomaly, why are they an anomaly, what's the impact of them being an anomaly. Everyone okay with those mini questions? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's the framework. They are the three elements to nailing section 1. Knowing your structures and sticking to them, because a lot of people write too much for a 3-marker. They write way too much for a 3-marker or a 4-marker. And then they don't write enough for the 6-marker or the 7-marker, which is like a mini essay. Okay, that has a different structure. You need to know your structures. And who here struggles with just seeing techniques as they read through? They're like, oh, I don't know where the techniques are. Because I know there must be a lot of people in that boat. Just put your hand up on the Zoom there if you're in that situation about technique spotting, because I know that is a key weakness for most students. Okay, there's a lot of people who struggle with that. Thank you for responding. All right, so let's have a look then at the first thing. I'm going to show you a few structures. Again, I'm working within the time constraints of this and just trying to show you the main pieces. If you guys want to go fully in depth and know how to answer every single type of question, spot every technique, I'm running the intensive workshop on this tomorrow for section 1 and the craft of writing. Okay, so for a 3-mark question, you need a topic sentence that basically answers the question conceptually. And then you need 2 sentences of analysis. Okay, do not storytell, do not bother doing anything in those sentences of analysis other than saying, what's the technique? Where is it? So what's the quote? Or you can describe the feature of the image if it's a visual. And then you need to say something like reveals, highlights, suggests, and then tell me what its effect is. But make sure that when you write the effect of the technique, when you actually analyze it and say why it's important, for instance, why is the metaphor in a quote important? What does it reveal? When you're saying what it reveals, make sure you're linking that directly to the question. So again, if the key term of the question was anomaly, you want to make sure you have used the word anomaly in your explanation, so in the effect part of the sentence. And you want to make sure that you've said something meaningful about the anomaly. So don't just say, this reveals an anomaly. Again, that's not enough. This reveals how anomalies can be excluded from society. Okay, that's something, you're telling me something about being an anomaly. That's good, you'll get the mark. So just note that with 3 markers, 4 markers, it's just 1 mark per sentence. You've just got to satisfy the requirements. You've just got to do enough. It doesn't have to be an amazing response. You just have to tick off the elements. What about a 4 marker? It's easy to remember this. 3 marker is that. 4 marker is just another piece of analysis. You don't need to write more than this. So a 4 marker is 4 sentences. You just need 4 different techniques. Sorry, 3 different techniques for this. For a 4 marker, you need 3 different techniques, and you need to make sure that you're not repeating the point that you made in a previous sentence with the new sentence. So make sure that you have 3 unique points. They might all be very similar, but you need to make sure that they are actually a unique point and you're not repeating yourself. Otherwise, you won't get the extra mark. There's a couple of other questions that I might have missed before. I'm going to come back to your other questions as well, by the way, in the chat. You can probably see what I'm going to do a quick answer of those before I continue. So the most recent question was, do you need a concluding sentence in 3 or 4 markers? It's a good question. No, you do not. No, you do not. How do I know that? Because I've gone over this with students and they've gone and done the HSC and I see their results and I know where they got marks. What I'm showing you is the most efficient way of getting the marks. You do not need to do the link sentence for the sake of it. It's 1 mark per sentence for 3 and 4 markers, and 5 markers are a little bit different, but you could do, I'll add this exception. For a 5 mark answer, I would probably have a link sentence with an extra piece of analysis as well, if you're doing that as a 1 paragraph answer. So to answer your question, for a 3 or 4 marker, no concluding sentence, just say the 3 techniques after you've said the topic sentence. Hopefully that answers Amy's question. Will you be sending out a copy of these slides? No, I won't be sending out a copy of all of the slides, but I will publish pieces of this presentation online later. It should be on the, parts of it will be on the YouTube channel and that, but you can definitely get some of these. If you have a special request for any particular slide or you need a reminder on things, please just let me know and I will get that to you. Now, what's the word count for 30 minutes? I don't know the word count for 30 minutes because it depends how fast you write. So Natalia's question was, what's the rough word count for a 30-minute essay or 30 minutes for your craft of writing or something? I don't know. It depends on the individual. If you're a fast writer, you might be able to write 950 words for 30 minutes. Does that make sense? It's very subjective. You can only know how much you write in that time, and that's why it's important you go and do it. If you're kind of a medium-paced writer, maybe in 32 minutes you can do like 800 words or 850 words. So for those of you with like 1,100 word essays, it's just way too long. It's not realistic. That's why you need to actually time it out.